Hello, Nicole here. Just enjoying and sharing the intersection of two of my favorite things, knitting and books. Today's knitting book review is of a book I checked out from the Watertown Free Public Library called AlterKnit Stitch Dictionary, 200 Modern Knitting Motifs by Andrea Rangel. I'm a sucker for puns and for beautiful cover art, so this book called out to me while browsing in my local library. Opening up this book made me glad I picked it up. The introduction gives us a glimpse into the fun personality and depth of love for knitting and design that the author, Andrea Rangel, has. So, what does this book cover? Choosing yarns and colors. I can't help but think this was influenced by her husband's background in fine arts. I loved learning about hues and values. How to knit with two colors. One thing I appreciated about this book is that it presents multiple options, allowing you to decide after testing them out and finding out which one works best for you. It is a pet peeve of mine when people present things as though there's only one right way to knit. She covers how to hold the yarn as well as how to manage the floats, the yarn you're not using that is in the back of your work. I enjoyed her examples of how the way you hold the yarn impacts color dominance, a fancy word for the yarn that fades to the background and the yarn that pops out. Reading charts. Color work is a place where charts shine, and her background is helpful and clear in this book. Swatching. Many people have strong opinions about this topic, some for, some against. This section made me more inclined to do swatching, especially for color work. Her information about what you can learn and the benefits of testing out colors and yarn on a smaller scale are compelling, even for this lazy, non-swatching knitter. Cutting up your knitting, also known as steeking. I will admit, I'm scared of steeking, but I feel empowered and excited to give it a try after reading this book. Give a comment below if you have tried this technique and have any tips to add. I can use all the help I can get. Also, leave a comment if you'd like to see a video about my experience testing out this technique. Tips for better color work. This section is clear, concise, and helpful. That's how I describe it. The majority of the book, though, is made up of swatches and has full color pictures that are gorgeous and inspiring of each of the designs that she and her husband came up with. There are also a couple of projects that incorporate some of the designs featured, including a hat, mittens, and a sweater, so you can see how to use these designs in projects that you may want to do. Fun facts from this book. She works with her husband, Sean, who has a degree in fine art. Together, they've decided to push boundaries and see what happens if you put aside some of the rules of color work. Here's one of my favorite comments. We've worked together this way for years, him drawing up a chart for me swatching it, and then the two of us together refining the charts and re-swatching until we have a fabric we both love. Learning new tips and tricks is also so fun, and I love the new knowledge that taking a black and white photo can help you see color values, enable you to choose better contrasting yarn before you even start your color work swatch. Perhaps the most fun fact for me was the reminder that you can add your own knowledge and interests into your knitting. I've experienced this fun collaboration and experimentation Andrea talks about having with her husband, who she describes as not thinking like a knitter. As I teach new knitters, they often ask questions or just try things that make me think about or approach a project in a different way than I would based on my own experience and what I've been taught. Resources. Most knitting books have a resource section where they give you basic information and also items specific to the content of the book. And this book's no exception. The resource section in this book, though, is pretty short. It contains abbreviations and swatches by stitch and row counts. The abbreviations are clear and typical. The swatch by stitch and row count chart is really helpful for finding a pattern that would work with the number of rows and stitch repeats your project has. It would also help find something that is really small or something that is larger if you're looking for that for a particular project. Some favorite quotes. Number 1, possibilities seem infinite and the challenges keep presenting themselves. Who doesn't want infinite possibilities and manageable challenges to tackle? I know I do. Quote number 2, what would happen if we didn't bother with the rules or with tradition? I've always loved the concept of learning the rules so you can break them. And I enjoy that this book helps give you the tools to do both. Understand the rules of color work and how to use them as a springboard rather than a fence. On that note, quote number 3, our hope with this book is that you, the knitter, find inspiration to break the rules with confidence. At the end of this book review, I have 2 questions to answer. 1, how likely am I to check it out again? Very. In fact, I'm already planning to do so. My plan is to return this book, that's a little overdue, and then put it on hold so I can pick it up again next time I go to the library. I want to tackle my first steeking project. Question number 2, who would I recommend this book to? Adventurous intermediate knitters. Those who always find themselves tweaking part of the pattern so they are working on and asking, what if I did this part differently? This book has a lot of great, clear information to set you up for success in doing this, experimenting all by yourself. If you want a pattern to tell you exactly what to do, maybe pass on this book. If you've just started knitting, you may want to wait until you finish a few beginner projects. Did you enjoy this book review? Give me a like so I know. And if you want to know when I post another one, subscribe and turn on notifications. Or if you have a recommendation for a knitting book I should check out, leave me a comment. And remember, knitting is a fun and relaxing hobby, and the library has many tools that can help you grow and expand your skills. Happy knitting!